Alrighty, guys. YouTube says we're live. I hope it's true. Checking all my settings, making sure my laptop's charging. How is everybody? It's a big week. We finally got Skybound coming. Is everybody ready? You guys got all your orders placed? I hope you went to your local comic book store or game shop and ordered some Skybound. Hey Andrew, how are you? You're gonna get those predictions, buddy. I got some things on my chest I gotta get off first. It's so frustrating. Oh, Joe Peters. I hear they are going to be bold. I don't know who told you that, but it's true. We are going to talk about it soon. First, I got to complain about a couple things. Wait till a few more people get into the chat. It's kind of crazy, things that are going on. Hey, John. Good to have you on so early. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try not to keep you from your dinner tonight either. Get out of here in time for us all to have a nice dinner tonight. I just got word here a little while ago that the marketing kits for Skybound have not arrived at GTS. I did not order one from Universal or ACD. I don't know if they've got them or not. I should have probably reached out to them after I got that message. You know, the marketing kit that we should have had it 6 or 8 weeks ago. I'm not happy about that. Oh, John's having a roast beef sandwich. It sounds delicious. Gonna put some cheese on it, maybe a little bit of mustard and nothing else, right? Or just have a plain roast beef sandwich, which is my preferred way. I also heard that ACD has not received the power stations yet. They may be coming a little late. I don't know why. ACD is going to ship out my booster boxes tomorrow. And he said he'll have to send the power stations later. So all you guys who are getting your product from ACD, Brandon West, I am so sorry. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Hey Doug, how are you? I gotta reach out to my rep at Universal and see. I'm gonna email him right now and see what's going on with Overpower there at Universal. I did get an invoice from them today that had one piece on it. It had no Overpower. So why don't I just email him right now and see if they have it in stock. I'm gonna call him. Yeah, that's all right, there we go. I'll find out what's going on there too. Maybe he'll reply back to my email. Hopefully he doesn't try to call me. Hey, Tech Spectre, how are you? John says, I've ordered for both ACD and GTS. Don't know if ACD got them. I'd need to check my invoice. They shipped today. What? You got a better ACD rep than I got. Actually, my rep said he was going to wait till tomorrow to try to get the power stations in. Hey, Doug, thank you. Everyone, please do remember to like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so that you know when we go live. We are going to go live on Friday and going to open a case. That will be myself, Jessica, Corey, and Noor. And I believe Yusuf will be here to open with us. Thank you for that like. We're going to open a case for us, and Yusuf is going to open some of his boxes. We were hoping to have a tournament with prize packs, but the prize packs have been delayed. No idea how long that delay is, but hopefully we'll get word on that, get an announcement on that soon. Judge says roast beef on Italian bread, lightly toasted with salt and pepper and cayenne. No mustard. What? Hey, Stefan, how are you? No pea in stock at Universal as of this afternoon. Oh, my gosh. Stefan, why do you spread such bad news? The traveling goof is here. How are you, buddy? Oh, John, how can you be too lazy to get all the good stuff? Andrew, I'm glad you guys got those ultra rares at your pre-release. From what I understand, the Brazil case, after 5 boxes, had 0 ultra rares. The Pennsylvania case had 1. The Flying Monkey case had 1. The Heroes in Game case had 0. I don't know how many we had up in Canada, to be honest with you. I think there was a few up in Canada. Those odds are just bad. Doug says price packs should be available in 2 weeks. Yes, they will be, along with the marketing kit, right? I checked GTS's warehouse for the marketing kit. They have 6 of them sitting in Florida and 0 at any of the other warehouses. I don't know what's going on, guys. It's frustrating. Stefan says Universal also back to not shipping same day. Get your orders in early. Doug says just the Taylor family ended up with 2. Oh, you guys got both of them? That's awesome. Hey, Raven Project, how are you? Cannot drive to Columbus again yet. Why not? I just replied to your email about 20 minutes ago, John, so thank you for everything that you do. I do expect my booster boxes and power stations to be here on Wednesday from GTS, and I'm going to do my absolute best to turn them around the same day, get them in to the pipeline on Wednesday afternoon. FedEx or UPS, I will probably not send any of them by the post office, because I think FedEx and UPS is the best way to go to try to get it there by Wednesday or by Friday. The only one I'm concerned about is Thomas out in Seattle, who is hoping to get his on release day. Thomas, if you're listening, I will reach out to you and see what we can do about that. Andrew says, gotta open a lot of boxes to average out for sure. Otherwise, it feels like you get lucky or you get unlucky. Yeah, it's awful. And the wrappers say it's still 1 every 3 boxes. So I just don't get it. Andy, how are you, buddy? Just watch. Someone's going to get a case stuffed with ultra rare foils, and odds will even out in the end. Yeah, for that guy, but not for the rest of us. Doug says, window clings and posters. Yeah, why don't we have... I sent a text to Ron and Joe this evening, not too long ago. Said GTS doesn't have the marketing kit. Joe said they should have had it months ago. If they did have it months ago, they should have made sure we got it months ago. I'm not happy, but it is what it is. There was 3 pulled in Seattle. Andrew, did you and your dad get all 3 of them, or just get 2 of the 3? Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, you guys got 2 of the 3. All right. I got the only one at the Flying Monkey. It was Rick Grimes. I'm not sure I'm going to put it up for sale quite yet. I want to see if these odds do actually average out a little bit better. If it's going to actually be one every 10 to 12 boxes, that ain't good, right? All right, John, good. I'm glad you got the email. And red beans and rice for dinner? Hey, Merlin, how are you? Yeah, I heard you got an ultra rare foil already. Who wants to buy it for $500? Oh, Brian, how are you? Are you throwing up that hand because you want to buy Merlin's GKL ultra rare foil? Because he'll sell it to you. Guys, don't get too upset about the rarity level. Like everyone's saying, it could average a little bit better once we get some of more of these cases out there. But right now, Columbus had 1 out of 12 boxes. Pennsylvania had 1 out of 6 boxes. Brazil has 0 out of 5 boxes. It's not looking good. Merlin, I'm just saying that right now, in the pre-release cases, that's what it's been here in Columbus. It sounds like they pulled 3 out of a case in Seattle. So, or did you guys have more than a case? I don't know. You shouldn't have had more than a case, right? Hey, Goof, I've seen a ultra rare foils posted from the pre-release days and the Peace Bridge. It sounds like there are at least 7 or 8 out there already. Merlin says, I did technically offer Diego dibs, so I can't just sell it without confirming his interest. I haven't heard from Diego. I got to reach out to him. Heard from Felipe, but not Diego lately. And he says, yeah, if the ultra rare foils are true random, then it's going to be like how you sometimes draw an opening hand and get 3 dupes. Seattle got 3 out of 6 boxes. All right. That's a good deal. I heard Joe G got 1 in each of his first 3 boxes that he opened. So some people got it and some people don't. Merlin says he opened 2 boxes, got just 1. Well, I mean, that's pretty good odds, 1 out of 2 boxes. I'd like to see more. Tune in Friday night when we open a case and see how we do. I don't know if that is the only boxes we will be streaming on Friday night or not. We may do more. Yeah, it's all rigged, right, John? Man. And they announced yesterday in Discord that the whole set has been spoiled. I haven't gone to look. I don't even remember the website now that I start to talk about it. But did they list the ultra rare foils on that website also? Goof says he just wants real cards in hand. Tech Spectre says Michonne sold on eBay last week or so. Yeah, it went kind of cheap, or maybe right about where it should be, I guess. 2.25, I think. Yeah, Merlin, way better odds than you got with ERB. Is everybody getting ready for Seattle? Seattle had a great turnout for their pre-release event. Would you guys have, like 22 players? That was awesome. And he says, yeah, they worked with Kyle to get the set spoilers on Excelsior. So the ultra rare foils are there too. We can get a complete list. Whole set was spoiled right after San Diego, and I have a full checklist including ultra rare foils. All right. I haven't looked, not because I don't want to know in advance or anything. I've just been so busy at the store. It's not been high on my priority list. Are we happy with the ultra rare foils? Did they do good? Did they choose what? Somebody said some of the characters have 2 ultra rare foils though. That seemed kind of odd to me. Is that true? Did they really? I guess I should go to Excelsior, right? Yeah, that's what Andy says. Let's see. No, let's see if I got a reply back from Brian yet. Nope, no reply from Brian. Whole set was spoiled. So I I need to go look at that. Negan has 3 ultra rare foils. Are you kidding me? Ron said several have more than 2, but who knows? Marcio, how are you? Do you know if there is any rarity difference between the ultra rare foils from the same characters? Why would Negan have 3 ultra rare foils? Is the character selection that bad in the set? That's not making me happy. Andy says, I do not see alternates on Excelsior. Andrew says they just let artists draw who they wanted. Oh my gosh, and 3 guys wanted to draw Negan? Andy says, I know he has at least 2. Well, Andrew's saying he's got 3 confirmed. A little curating on LRG's part would have been nice to balance it out. I agree, Merlin. Goof says, I just checked Excelsior. I don't see the ultra rares, just the commons and rares. John says the artists get a choice of who they want to draw. Wow. Goof says they're lucky that Kyle built that website, or else there'd be nowhere for LRG to post. Au contraire, how about the greatest Overpower website that's out there right now, the opvault.com? I believe you can see everything there. And Andrew says more than 3, it sounds like. Oh. Well, that's a little odd. That's an odd practice. But it is only Overpower's, LRG's second Overpower set. So I guess we're kind of still in a learning process, right? So right now, they paid Kyle for his work on the site, says Andrew. Who's Kyle? Do I know Kyle? I understand Kyle has the site Excelsior, but do I actually know Kyle? Joe, Kyle's is real, and it looks okay, but it's not the OP Vault. You guys should be going to the OP Vault for anything that you need. Now, if I know Kyle, I apologize, Kyle. But the OP Vault is pretty amazing, and that is our go-to website here in Columbus. We all instantly go check out that whenever we need to see an image, see the text off of a card. It comes right up. It's easy to navigate. I love everything about it. John says, last I checked, the new power cards weren't up yet, but they probably are now. Andrew says, I do think Negan is weirdly popular, probably because of his actor in the show. Yeah, but 3? Goose says, oh, I'm glad that Kyle was reimbursed for his work. Absolutely glad to hear that. Andrew says, Girls Gone Kyle on Discord. Andrew, you know I don't know what that is, right? We battle him in the leagues. I don't know if he's come to any tourneys. All right. Well, Kyle, great job. Appreciate all that you did. I still like Joe's website the best. Sorry, nothing personal. And one day I'll go look at Excelsior. That's right, I have not been there yet. Yeah, I do remember seeing that on Discord, that name on Discord, but the 1 or 2 times that I was there. Yeah, thanks for explaining. I honestly don't know who it is. I think Kyle was at Columbus last year. Which one, Andy? Doug says, I think there are a few characters with multiple ultra rares. Yeah. Andy says, I feel like the username sounds familiar. Yeah, I don't know. Q says, I wrote up a deck idea with the reserve, Negan. We'll see how it does. Hey, Keith, how are you? Looks like the Goof's trying to transition me into the Seattle regional event. already. I'm only 20 minutes into the stream. I had to really get off my chest things about the marketing kits not being in stock. Man, I am disappointed to hear that Universal has nothing in stock. And I'm a little disappointed that ACD does not have power stations in stock. That's just crazy. Doug says, hey, Goof, you could have cards if you and Nick had driven the Mystery Machine up here to Seattle. Yeah. Oh, I got a reply from Universal. Universal got it in today. Yay! Not sure about marketing kits. I'll have to look into that. How do the marketing kits work for this game? What's the story on them? I can ship these unless you need more. Okay. So, Stefan, contact your Universal rep. He has boosters. He has power card stations. He has starter decks all ready to go. That is the Fort Wayne location, has them all. He doesn't know anything about marketing kits. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to reply back to him real quick and let him know. I haven't seen them on the Universal site. All right, so they can ship this tomorrow. I will definitely have product here on Wednesday from Universal and GTS. ACD will come in a little bit later. They usually take 2 to 3 days to get here, so I'm hoping to have it on Friday. And I'll give him a big thank you for the quick reply. And done. All right, so Universal has the product. Stefan, you better get on your rep and see what's going on. Negan has 1 common, 2 rares, and 2 ultra rares. Says Marcio, how did you get all this inside information clear down there in Brazil, Marcio? He's probably bought the original art for all 5 of them, right, Marcio? Goof says, hey, missed opportunity. The traveling OP show will happen one day. Yeah. I'm going to try and build the local Columbus OP show, Goof. I'm going to do a little bit less traveling. Still trying to get up to Boston. Airfare has come down a little bit. I'm hoping to see it creep down just a little bit more, and then I'm going to snatch my ticket and fly to Boston. I got to get with Nor and Jessica and find a deck to build. Nor's been brainstorming a lot for Boston. It's too bad Boston doesn't have a regional the same weekend. I don't like that I'm going to miss the next 2 regionals, Philly and Seattle. Hey, Brett Cox, welcome. Good to see you, buddy. I don't think Corey, Jessica, Nor, or myself will be in Seattle. The Columbus contingent will be Andy and maybe Ray Tan. I think that's it. It may end up just being Andy, which I hope isn't the case. Ray was in a car accident and he's doing okay, but I don't know if he's going to fill up to traveling. I haven't heard from him in a text since Friday, I think it was. So I got to check on him. And oh my gosh, there's gnats everywhere in this room today. What the heck is going on here? That's going to make Seattle a little less. You won't have Phil Miller. You won't have Phil Keffer. You won't have the Sims, nor Yusuf, I don't believe, is going to be there. So, guys, the competition in Seattle will be tough, but not as tough as some of the others. Although the Seattle guys didn't make it to Columbus either. So I guess maybe that balances out. John, don't tell me that. The Red Sox have been playing good baseball, 6 games ahead for second wild card. There's a tiny sliver of hope for October baseball in Fenway. That would be amazing. You know what? I need to book that flight and have the option to come in early, just in case. And he says, oh, geez, hoping Ray recovers quick. Yeah, he's doing okay, just feeling a little sore. Hey, Travis, how are you? I think it is just Anthony from the Gamer's Edge crew. Anthony's the only one that's going. Bummer. Goof says, Doug lobbied so hard to get the Nats that he got Nats too. Yeah, I know, it's bad. Usually, we don't have this problem until after the Ohio State Fair. It's bad, all right. We're pretty close to the fair, and after the fair, the Nats can be bad. They have to come in and treat this building 2 or 3 times in a week to get them. I think what happened was we had so many people in here over the weekend, and they didn't empty the trash cans quite often enough. But enough of that. Let's get into it. What do you guys like? Most of you have probably seen most of the cards. The set has been spoiled. We saw some decks, even though they were drafted and sealed. You can't do a whole lot of creative things with those formats. What do you guys think? I think I'm going to call it that Omni-Man is going to win Seattle. 23 points. He is well worth the points. If you're looking at a deck to build and you're not thinking about Omni-Man, you are missing out. He's got so many good specials. He's got an avoid for him and the team. You put in the new any characters from the Skybound set, and it really can be a defensive team. Andy says, I'm not afraid of Omni-Man. You don't have to be afraid of him. Merlin says, Omni deck will show up on a few decks for sure. Travis says it's been between Anthony and Ben for the Immortal one. I wonder, I got to get with Ben, Travis. I think Ben's driving in to pick up his boxes this weekend. I need to check and see. Yeah, the Omni Monster is rough and sealed. So, as you know, with this bold prediction of Omni-Man winning the event, that means that Andrew will not be winning the Seattle Regional because he has not embraced the Omni-Man. Unless he just changes his mind and he doesn't want me to know that he really has embraced the Omni-Man. I don't think Andrew's going to be able to pull it off. They're going to come at you hard. Omni-Man in this set stands head and shoulders above everyone else, I think, even when you look at the different combos. Yeah, Goof says, I'm guessing that the most common 23 porter will be Omni-Man, more than GKL or the others. What, you don't think he's worth 25 points? Come on, Andrew. He's worth it. He's a monster. I wasn't too impressed with GKL, even in sealed play. I don't know. I know Corey was really looking forward to playing him. We'll see what he can come up with. But GKL just kind of struck me as 23 points. He's got some nice cards. I don't see him dominating, but I could be wrong. I can't wait to see what Joe Peters plays. I started to scratch Joe Peters from winning the event because he never plays a serious deck. And then I remembered last year at the regional, he took second place and only did not win the event with what was not considered a real serious deck at the time because he ran into Phil Miller. So Joe Peters is going to be up there on the list. I'm pretty sure he's going to see what he can exploit out of this set and come up with something that most people wouldn't have thought of. As long as he keeps those exploitive ideas to himself and doesn't tell everybody what he's doing so they don't come prepared. Merlin says, I'm looking at an Omni-Man deck that I've been refining, or a Mikey Rhodes deck. I think Mikey's going to have some representation. Hey, John says, I like Levy and the Mahler twins, but too hard to afford a good intellect team around them. Omni-Man is very strong. Andy says, I haven't cracked my favorite build for him, but I will love to build Angstrom. I like Angstrom. He's got some good cards. He had, in playtesting, he had a card that could raise one of his stats to an 8 when he defended an attack. They took that away from him and then added a point to his total. So he's not as good as he was in playtesting, I don't think. But he can still be very good. I don't think he's going to dominate the scene. From what I don't know, is Marcel coming? I don't know if Marcel's going to be there or not. I haven't heard from him. Marcel might have trouble getting cards to build a deck since he's in Canada. We'll see if the cards can cross the border and be there on release day. I think Tyler and Derek are, like, last I heard, 50-50 to be there. If Derek is there, he's going to be favored, one of my favorites to win the event. Derek don't play around, as you know. He takes everything extremely serious, and I will be curious to see what Derek comes with. Tyler, on the other hand, likes to stretch the boundaries and create some crazy decks that don't always play as planned. Makes it a little harder for him to pull out those wins. I'm not saying he can't do it. There's a lot of tricks in the Skybound set, so be curious to see if he shows up or what he's going to play. Wait a minute. Andy's saying something about Angstrom. Oh, no. GKL is really mid and sealed. Mid and sealed? Only having singles on anything makes him much worse. His speed bump becomes useless if you can't play at least 3. The Goof says, Omni-Man is one of the 3 decks I'm going to build first to see if it's worth pursuing for Seattle. It's edging out my GKL idea with Kate and Robot. Okay. Andy says, also, Nevermind is one of the lore's best cards, but in sealed, he only gets 1. And Travis says, I lost 1 game with GKL deck yesterday. Nice. And hey, Nor, how are you, buddy? Nor says, no Skybound character is better than Tarzan. I think Omni-Man might be, because he's a lot more points. Merlin says, I am not sure about Marcel's plan. Marcel has at least 1 box of Skybound. Yeah, but that won't give you a play set. That gets you 1 of each character, but not play sets of characters. So he may struggle a little bit. Unless, of course, he asked me to get him a box to Canada, which I could very easily do. I could even ship it to Seattle and have it waiting for him if he goes to the tournament. Goof says, Marcel said he'd be there, and somehow he's already got a box or two. He won a box at the Canadian event, I think, or they gave him a box just to open for a stream. I'm not sure which. He might have won one. John says, my first fun playtest deck had +10 to venture every hand from hand 2. Unfortunately, it just folds to a single KL special. I'm not a big fan of the KL. I think if you play that card, you may find it to be useless, the hand that you draw it. So unless you're playing the round table and can place it, I'm not sure about that one. I do like that you get, I think is it Omni-Man, the name of the card, which is the same as Stars and Garters. You get a Teammate of Void. You get an Acrobatics, which if you are an old player, you know what that means. In the new vernacular, Avoid wanted only cards with the Universe, only attacks made with the Universe card. And if you run the event that no Universe cards can be played this battle, it's a pretty hard card to get through. Although with the new assist, they have a 4 that will ignore that. Goose says Tarzan is going to be a monster. Oh, yeah? And he says, check that Omni-Man versus Tarzan matchup, though. Merlin says, my flight is booked, so I'll see you guys in Seattle. All right, Merlin. Well, it's interesting. I'm curious to see what the balance is between the new Skybound characters and ERB. I know Josh Alexander thinks that Skybound is going to overrun ERB. So we shall find out in Seattle. I think Seattle's probably going to be 90% Skybound characters. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I'm thinking because of the newness of it all. And we got to learn a new meta. I'm super excited to see the decks. I hope we can get them up really early, as soon as possible after the event. And I'm just a little bit more so to see if any of the Skybound characters make it into the legacy decks. Merlin says Tarzan laughs at Omni-Man's strength attacks with his mighty intellect power cards. Yes, he does. Goose says there are so many big brute force attacks. Andrew says Damien Darkblood is auto include. And John says that any heroes are good and assists go under lockouts. Hey Ricky, how are you? Yeah, try 3 times the speed and get caught up, buddy. Yeah, those assists are going to make it harder to lock anybody out, but it is only a 4. Goose says, I'll have that exact data for you after the tournament. I'm guessing about 30% ERB, 70% Skybound. Thank you, Goof. I will be patiently waiting. Or should I say impatiently waiting. Really wish we could go. It's just a terrible, terrible weekend for us. It's actually our second biggest weekend of the year. So we're just not going to be able to be there. And he says, I kept coming around to Skybound characters, but then I found a lineup that was 3/4 CRP characters, and that really surprised me. Andrew thinks 60-40. Okay. And Doug says, I disagree with you and Josh. Okay. John says 70% Skybound in a few months, but 85% for the first event. Yeah, I kind of think it's going to be heavy on Skybound, but I can't wait to see. John says Skybound will be the new hotness in Seattle, so people will both be eager to play it and not used to playing against it. We'll have a better sense of things by Philly. That will be interesting too. I can't wait to see them both. And he says, I think Skybound will make a big splash, but a lot of ERB characters still do things that Skybound characters don't. I'd like to be able to justify Philly, but it's just a lot of travel for me this year. Tech Spectre, you're funny. 69%, 31%. Just can't go with somebody else's prediction, right? Goof says, I'm also hoping to have a full ERB recap out this week. We can find out who was the most played ERB top 8 character. And Tech Spectre, Doug likes your bold prediction there. Goose says, but I think we'll see a lot of 3 Skybound, 1 ERB character teams. Tech Spectre says, okay, here comes the ultra rare list. All right, we go. Go ahead and post. We'll see what all's there. 3 and 1. Yeah, you might need that ERB character just to make your team legal, right? Get a 16, 17 point character. Whoa, Felipe! You have come to the right place if you need that overpower fix, my friend. Asking for a friend, are you? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. All right, Tech Spectre says we got Invincible, Rick Grimes, Michonne, and Negan. Then the Governor and Woodbury. Man, who volunteered to draw the Governor and Woodbury? Then another Michonne. I mean, Michonne's incredibly popular, but I just don't like the idea of giving any character 2 ultra rares. I mean, King Arthur only got 1. Goof says, I love how many 17-point characters are in Skybound. 6, I think. That sounds right. There's another Negan. Alan, the alien. Yes. Felipe, hot tip. 2 or 3 ERB characters built around a Skybound big lead. You're welcome. Thanks for that hot tip, Felipe. Then we got a robot and a Rexplode. Andrew says, Nemo didn't even get a rare. Yeah, ain't that crazy? Couldn't even get a foil, Nemo. And Negan gets 2 ultra rares. A Battle Beast. There certainly should have been a Battle Beast. Monster Girl. I love the artwork on the ultra rare Monster Girl for sure. GKL. Definitely should have got one. John says, Aldred did the portrait shots of the key Walking Dead characters, including Governor. Okay. Travis says, Felipe, you need to sneak peek the rest of the Phantom Express specials so I can come up with a deck for Philly. Philly, another one that we won't be able to attend. There's Omni-Man, Adam Eve, of course. Another Alan the Alien. Another Adam Eve. She gets 2. I just don't get it. I know, you guys... Oh, Invincible. Is that the second one for Invincible? Was it? Yeah, because he was the first one. And there he is again. Wow. And if you think this list of ultra rare foils having dupes is bad, wait till you see the list of characters in Top Cow. Oh my gosh. They'll have to give Witchblade 3 or 4 ultra rares just so they can fill out the checklist. Wow. All right. Hey, Jalen, how are you, buddy? Jalen, are you going to Seattle or are you... I think you said you were not going. I can't remember. Hey, let's see if I go over this list again. I think Andy, you got a good shot at the top 8. I'm rooting for you, buddy. And Ray Tan, if he can make it out there, I think I would favor him. I think Doug Taylor will do great out there because he's not afraid to play Omni-Man. Unlike Andrew, he's a little more open-minded toward Omni-Man. I don't think Andrew's going to play Omni-Man, and Doug just might beat up on Andrew because he'll bring Omni-Man to the board. Oh, John says, don't sleep on Cecil. 9 and low level defenses with the allies from reserve isn't terrible. He's definitely not terrible. And he is fairly inexpensive for what he does. And he says no pressure, though. No pressure, Andy. We got 10 days to do some play testing with you and get you there. And Jalen says, no, I am not going to Seattle. I really wanted to, but won't be able to make it. I'm mostly looking at PAX, which is a little ways away. Yeah, that's not till December. And he says, I think I might have cooked up something spicy, though. Well, bring it on. I think guys are planning on playing tomorrow night. If you want to play test, I don't think Doug has seen all the any-hero defense we all get. He is traumatized from Sealed, where Omni-Man's 9 is basically unblockable. Felipe says the White Room OPD is awesome if you put it into play early on. Goof says, I got my Walkers deck already printed out and sleeved. The Walkers are fun. Andrew, you got to come around to the Omni-Man. That 9 is pretty monstrous. With that 9, I don't know how many cards you got in your deck that can defend that 9. Maybe one per hand, you can block it, right? If you get a good distribution on your any characters. You pull an offensive negate if you're playing the Mummy or Mina. Maybe a real negate if you got Sherlock Holmes, and then your any characters. Of course, to get EFL into play, you can get +2 and defend it quite easily. Doug Taylor says, I've been playing Omni-Man, but Andrew has been winning most of his games, not using him. Okay. Yeah, but how does he do against his games against Omni-Man? All right, Merlin. Have a great one, buddy. We'll see you next week. Andy says, I'm there tomorrow. Got just enough of a taste on Friday. Like 8 to 10 cards per deck. Yep, that's just slightly over 1 per hand. But you also got to defend all the other 8s that are coming at you. You just checked? See, you should have already known that. 8 cards that stop the Omni-Man 9. That's 1 per hand if you go 8 hands. Then if you can get an EFL, that'll get you your 7 power cards can block it. Then, of course, you got your draw 3s that you got to stop too. Then he can still throw 2 more 8s at you. If you're a max 7 character, you can't use a power card to defend those. It's going to be a challenge. You're playing 8 hands. Yeah, probably not. You're right. You might best you get 7 before you get into the power pack. So you got 8 cards and 7 hands to defend the 9 that you're only going to see once. I don't know how you're going to defend his 8s. If you're using everything to defend a 9. And then he's got a team of void for his whole team. We shall see. It's going to be fun. I think I like to see what Thomas is going to come up with. I haven't chatted with him in a week or so, but I'm sure Thomas is looking at Omni-Man. He's not afraid to play the Omni-Man. Goof says, I'll just put 5 basics in my deck. That'll stop Omni-Man. That will definitely help your chances to stop the 9 for sure. I'm kind of curious. I like to see the complete deck breakdowns to see how many play the KL. Not too many people play the classic version like Little X-Man. Doug says Thomas hasn't been playing. What the heck, Thomas? And the KL only takes away one, unlike the Little Iceman that takes away all of them. So it's still a good card, but I'll be curious to see if guys choose to play it or not. We have 2 regionals to figure things out before we even get to the Nats to see what guys are doing. We'll have lots of locals once we get the ball rolling on local play. Hey, Joey, how are you, buddy? Oh, Doug says, Thomas hasn't been playing for many months. Might be a bit rusty. Interesting. He's not even playing online games? He must have a lot going on. So, I'll be interested to see if Marcel shows up. I'll have to reach out to him too. Intended to come to the pre-release, but had something more important come up. What? He didn't even make the pre-release. Wow. If you can't beat him, Dracula's army him, says Joe. And Omni-Man can throw so many teamworks at you too. Just when you think you got him stopped, he pulls out one of those big old teamworks. Goose says almost every character has a ROG special of some sort. Not going Damien Dark would be a mistake. Not playing Damien Darkblood would be a mistake. Dark Clowns. It's honestly more fair if Thomas shows up with 0 experience with new cars or test games. Gives the rest of us a chance. He hasn't even looked at Skybound. Interesting. Doug says Marcel is coming to Seattle. Joey says, too bad Legacy got pushed out at Seattle, huh? Yeah. I don't know. A lot of guys are super excited to play 2 modern games back to back with all the new cards. We'll see how that turns out. Doug, how many they got scheduled for the regional right now? Do you know? Registered, not scheduled. How many registered right now? Says, nah, I'm so much more excited that we get 2 days of modern. Yeah, a lot of guys are. John says, Omni-Man, team defense, personal defense, huge attacks, great grid, and a good inherent. Good luck. Yeah, we didn't even talk about his inherent. You can't spectre him. Why is it too bad? More players will show up for this. Felipe is asking, was Thomas a play tester? I don't know if he was or not, to be honest with you. Doug says Legacy didn't get pushed out this year. We will have new Skybound. And Doug says no, Thomas was not a playtester. And to be honest with you, not too many people were playtesters because we did not really playtest it a whole lot. It was a short turnaround time and not much was playtested. It was play tested, but not thoroughly play tested. We shall see how things go. I think they did a decent job with the cards. I don't like all the text on the cards. I don't like all the remainder of battle, remainder of game stuff. There's a lot of non-venture cards in the Skybound set. But again, I'm super excited to see what guys come up with. No character to me just jumps out and says, oh, I want to play this guy. Not even Omni-Man. I think Omni-Man is really good, but it's not like, oh, I got to play Omni-Man because I like Omni-Man so much. I am looking at Omni-Man decks for sure. I'm just curious to see how it's all going to come together. Doug says right now 22 for regional and 15 for the melee, but those numbers will go up. John says good luck to everybody in Seattle. Oh, I'm sure they'll go up. Yeah, Joe, we get it, but the Seattle players don't have, a lot of them don't have those classic cards. They're, the Seattle area is just really got a handful of classic players and a whole lot of modern new players. So, just to get those new guys actually in the event, they went with the modern format. And I know it got Ray excited to travel out to Seattle to be able to play modern back-to-back days. So he was at one time really excited to go. I think it's interesting right now that 7 guys signed up for, 7 more guys are signed up for the regional than the NAOL event on Sunday, which could just be guys can't make it both days. And they're picking which day they want to play. And he says, curious how many people will try a lockout deck with the new character-specific lockouts. Doug says, vast majority of our players don't have any legacy stuff. Right. All the LRG guys are really excited to participate in Modern, which they never get to. Yeah. That came up in our NAOL group chat that somebody, I think, wanted to ban them or was asking if we were going to allow them. I think it's kind of exciting that they're going to be allowed to play. I'm kind of curious to see how that pans out, too. There's a lot going on in Seattle that I'm curious about. Joey says, then LRG can run an event out there, move NAOL. Ezekiel in both finals decks, says Josh. Hey, Josh, how are you, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. I honestly have not even looked at Ezekiel. I don't know what he's got. LRG can't play in events they run, says Andrew, which is so true. Is Ezekiel a max 6, but there's a way that he can get him to a 7? I can't remember now. Goose says, I wonder if anyone will bring Ezekiel at all, or if he'll be the new indie mob. Yeah, I don't know, Goof. I think there's a lot of characters in Skybound that are probably going to have a hard time seeing play, right? Josh says, let's just call him Balk Ben Zeke. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of characters there that I don't like, that I'm just not getting excited for. But we shall see. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. And Goof, thank you for making that information available as soon as you do, because I know you'll get it up there quick. Andy says, I don't think he's amazing, but people mean too hard on Ezekiel. Oh, are a lot of people dogging Ezekiel? Josh says, Flaxens are best. I kind of like the Flaxens, but 22 points, I think. I don't know if they're going to see a lot of play either. I think most of the Walking Dead characters outside of Michonne are going to have a hard time cracking in. I know a lot of guys like Rick Grimes and they like Negan, but I don't know. They're kind of gimmicky. I have not sat down and tried to build a deck with either one of them. They just don't jump out at me as being competitive characters. Josh says 21 for an 8 and a 7 grid for Flaxens are 21? I thought they were 22. All right, 21 definitely would make them sound a little more enticing. I need to take lessons from Doug Taylor on new player recruiting. I can't get guys to stop playing Commander long enough to learn a new game. And he says Rick is going to be a powerhouse, I think. Interesting. Joey says, so if LRG has a game where most people have old legacy cards more than modern, the format would switch to legacy? No, because LRG's not interested in the legacy format at all, and I don't think they should divert their attention to the legacy format. Governor at 16 is a possibility, says Raven. Yeah, the governor's kind of cool. Those teamwork bonuses are 6, says Andy. Doug says Rick is good. Hilltop quite good. Yeah. Andy says, yeah, I think Governor is overtuned. Josh says Doc Seismic is the best sub-8 grid in the set, in my opinion. I like Doc Seismic. And John says Ezekiel was good and sealed. Yeah, sealed kind of does balance out the field a little, right? Goose says it took me a long time too. John, I finally got a couple interested enough to come out for the launch weekend, but it's hard to take them away from Commander. And that's the problem where you're robbing other games' players to bring them into your game. It does make it hard. And he says, yeah, Doc Seismic grid is really good, honestly. The downside is very small in the grand scheme. And Joey says, right, that's my point, and it shouldn't impact NAOL, the legacy class, the other way either. And I'm going to go check my email. Okay. Still no reply. No update on the marketing kit. So that'll be curious to see if I can get a marketing kit. Goof says Ezekiel will be good in a deck when you're trying to win in hand 2. Holy cow. Andy says, I think it's fine if not very NAOL in the same form. And I think it's fine if not every NAOL event is the same format. Hey, Ricky, you got caught up? Yeah, this is probably the only time that I'm slow on a live stream, right? Hey, Felipe, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Andrew says, it's funny to me when people feel so passionate about a certain format but aren't coming regardless. Well, that's a good point. I don't think either way, Ohio would be there either way if it wasn't on such a bad weekend for us. It wouldn't matter what the NAOL event format was. We wish we could be there. Yep, Andrew, Ricky was watching on 3 times. That's what he does. And if you watch my games on stream, that would be about the equivalent of a live game. How many decks with Big Mikey Rhodes? Asked Josh. I don't know. 21 points for negate, right? No, Andrew, Jess and Nor are not planning to come. Unfortunately. Ricky says, hey, Doug, I'll be in town Wednesday and Thursday this week. Y'all doing anything those nights? Not sure if I'm actually be able to join. If so, but maybe. Nothing on Wednesday. I'm not sure about Thursday, Ricky. I'll get back with you on that. Goose says, I hope a lot bring Mikey. My teamworks need a target. Andrew says, I thought they were. Bummer. Yeah. They were trying to make it work, and things just didn't work out. I was really trying to get them to go. We gave Jessica the weekend off, but things just didn't work out for them. I was really hoping Nora would talk Jessica into it, or Jessica would talk Nora into it. I don't know what happened. Ricky says, imagine watching a dairy game on 3 times. Blink and it's over. Yep, you miss it. Andrew thinks Mikey will be popular. He's 21 points within the gate, which is the same as Merlin, but he actually has some venture. So I think he'll definitely be more popular than Merlin. And he says, I want to build something with Mikey, but there's just so much to play. Josh says, one thing you can guarantee, if there's a long-haired bearded guy with high combat stats, he's going to be practically busted. Mikey Tarzan. Just saying. The Goose says, do we really think Mikey will be big? Leaning into Negate seems like a legacy mentality, but then again, specials are even bigger with Skybound. Negate is just one more defensive card, right? Obviously, it doesn't do anything for a teamwork or a power card, but there's so many specials that are going to be played in a Skybound set that Negates may once again be prevalent. I don't know. I'm not looking at Mikey. Corey kind of is. I don't know if he would actually... I mean, he just likes the character, so he wants to play it. I don't think that he's playing it for the Negate. Andrew says, Negates are so good against everything. They aren't situationally good like a lot of cards. Every deck has specials, right? Teamworks are less powerful and modern, remember, says Andy. Just a little. I mean, you still got the white-powered ones. They're both 6s. And a lot of times you place a Negate. I'm going to throw my Teamworks and my power cards on your Negate character and try and knock them out and make that Negate not playable until they're KO'd, then start playing my Negates. Not always possible, but that is one of the methods that I try. Goose says, we don't really see Negate show up much in the ERB rounds. Morgan's won Mina early on, Corey's Merlin deck, but didn't make too much of a splash otherwise. Yeah. I think Corey probably played Merlin more than anybody, right? Morgan's in there a lot, but hers is a 1 per deck. Mina on Jessica's deck. And he says you could probably easily swap Mikey in for Merlin in the +3 Venture deck. Corey and I had discussed that. I don't think that would work quite so well. But it just, every deck that you build has its own goals. And if you build a deck with the goal of Mikey and King Arthur, Watson in reserve, get that +3 with the Negate. You got your 8-stat character over there. You got the points. You could do something. It'll be interesting to see how it works. Josh says Merlin's biggest move is buffing King Arthur from a 4 to a 6 void. Correct. I also like Merlin's card to reveal all special universe or power cards in your hand of Merlin's choice. I really like that card. I hate playing against that card. That is way better than Watson's reveal 2 cards playable by character. And I think that's what, between that card and the Negate, is what makes Merlin so wonderful. So I don't think it's a straight switch with Merlin and Mikey, although with Merlin your grid's a little wonky. King Arthur drops to a 4 or less for the team, which now it doesn't stop the first attack of the white teamwork, and it might not stop any attack from a white teamwork. And Andrew says, I think Andy means the aspect deck, -3 to venture plus per special. Oh, at the end of the hand. John says Mikey should probably be 20 points, but they are scared of letting Negates be too good. I think Mikey's good at 21. with or without that negate. How sad is it that Mikey and Arthur are more appealing than Merlin and Arthur, says Andrew. Yeah. There are things that are so disappointing in the game. If Lancelot would have been an 8, I'd play Lancelot, Arthur, and Merlin in every deck. Goose says, I'm not saying Mikey is bad, like I think Merlin is. What? But maybe we'll have enough defense where stacking the gates will keep you alive. Andrew says, Mikey should be 22 points. Yeah, but I would lean towards 22 more than I would 20, that's for sure. Andy says, no, I was talking about the Baker deck. Okay. Josh says, Mikey has a 7 attack defense 1 per deck, which is really sweet. Andrew says, negates do more than just block attacks. Ultimate flex card. Stop that draw 3. They can do away with early feminist leader. And reap the or harvest the wind. So, yeah, there's a lot they can do. Andy says, Mikey not having a Baker card does change things. That's a good point. I don't see him replacing Merlin on the King Arthur Watson deck. But I could see him replacing Merlin and pairing very well with King Arthur, and maybe changing the other 2 characters too. Maybe keeping Watson and maybe not. At least, then you got 2 7 combat characters and you don't have to split your power grid. So there's a lot of flexibility there. But you're 3 points over, so you're going to need a 19 with an 8 grid in combat. So, and then you could still put Watson in reserve, who is a 6 combat. So it's possible. I don't know that it would be better than the Wicked Witch on that front line, though. Josh says, how about Flaxens and Doc Seismic? Yeah. They both seem like fun characters. And he says, Mikey in the Rick Michonne Alexandria shell is a pretty interesting way to round that deck out. And John says, Mikey, some will call Watson and Billy in reserve. Oh, you want to put Watson on the front line? Nice. And the Goof says, that would be a hard deck to push, though. You might want to take the +1 Venture home base because nothing gets through. Does everyone now understand what the Battleground card does? It is really nothing. I know they did a very lousy job of getting the word out on what that card was all about. All it does is signify which set of any characters you are playing. Otherwise, it means absolutely nothing. You cannot mix ERB and Skybound any characters. You have to play one or the other. If you're playing the Skybound, you have to have the Battleground card. There is no Battleground card at this point for the ERB to designate that that's what you're playing. So you would not have a Battleground card if you're playing ERB at this point. So I think now that the cards are actually out and people see it, they kind of understand that. But boy, did they do a lousy job of letting people know in advance what that stupid Battleground card was all about. Josh says Zorro, Mikey, and Tarzan. And I guess Watson in reserve? And the Goose says they still haven't said anything about it officially, LOL. They just assumed that word has leaked out. Great for new players. Goof, you are, as usual, correctamundo. I got asked that question so many times. What is this stupid battleground? What does this battleground mean? What is the battleground card? I can't believe they didn't put that out there. Doug says, many still confused by how they work. It's so frustrating. Andrew says, not a fan at all of 3 character synergies built into the text. I much prefer dual characters like Arthur and Merlin, Jane and Korak, etc. Interesting. John says, if you don't have much else to negate, you can always remove a hit and play with Obsession. Yeah, that's definitely a popular combo. All right, Andrew says, Michonne, Rick, Alexandra leaves so little room for creativity, and the deck will seem so similar no matter the 4th option. Yeah, for sure. And I like the synergy of creating things for characters that make sense in the realm of the comic book or the TV show or whatever. But man, it, like you said, there's no creativity on that 4th character. It's just how many points you got left. And 2 sets down the road, you're not going to play those 3 guys together, Michonne, Rick, and Alexandria. And so they're not going to see play probably at all. And that's sadly the way it's probably going to be. We'll see if I'm wrong, or I could be wrong, but that's my prediction on that. Goof says, sadly, I could believe they didn't say anything about it. Par for the course for LRG. Man, you guys are harsh on LRG. But I'm harsh on them tonight too. A marketing kit that should have been in my store 2 months ago, and I'm not going to have them for the release of the event. I can't put up posters or anything. I should have made my own, but I was I don't know if it's like too busy or too lazy to make my own. I'm going to go with too busy. Josh says that triple Walking Dead team just feels like a modern version of the old location home-based teams. That's a great point, Josh. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, it kind of does. And he says, I think it's fine, honestly. The 3 character trio gives new players an easy build around, and that's the only triple. I think in the long range view, though, Andy, it's not good. And if they would have done that with Lancelot and made him an 8, then maybe I'd feel a little differently. But I feel cheated on my King Arthur Lancelot combo. So I'm not giving in to that one, okay? I'm going to stick firm to that. Josh says, I think they should drop the specific character name synergies going forward. Just build in the natural environment synergies and let players find them. 100% agree for now. But if they come up with a great synergy, I might change my mind. If they put out a World Legends Part 2 and they give Lancelot an 8, I want some synergy with King Arthur. I'm just saying. Andy says, I honestly haven't found myself aiming to build anything around that trio, but I'm a seasoned player at this point. And the Goof says, that's the only trio that are really baked in like that. It's a fine intro deck for newer players looking to play. It is. But, you know, we all want to get into our inner creativity and build something. I don't think it's good long range. And the Goose says, I like the character synergies more with Skybound than ERB. Maggie is fun because she has synergies with different characters, but I'm also good with not seeing synergies again. Yeah. At this point, I think it was nice. It's been done. Let's move on to something different. And I'm thinking about the Top Cow deck or set. I don't think there's anything there that was real specific, but I haven't looked over the cards in fine detail. I could be wrong. And I'm kind of curious how, if they get to the Marvel license, how would they do synergies with Marvel characters? Is Spider-Man going to pair well with other Marvel characters with the synergy. John says it's psychological. Michonne is probably worth 19 all by her lonesome, but you see that inherent and you feel like you're wasting potential. Yeah, I kind of think that. And to get her to that 8, you have to play the other 2 characters. But you don't have to play the other 2 characters because Michonne doesn't have to be an 8. She's a really good character at 19 points, max 7. So we shall see. Like I said, I'm super excited to see what you guys come up with out there in Seattle. We will be watching. I'm going to try to figure out a way. Like I said, we're going to be incredibly busy that weekend, but I really, really, really want to put the games on stream and be playing them. I don't know if I'll put them back here in the Windows room, or if I can find a way to put them in the store so that I can sneak some views and see what's going on. I know LRG will be streaming. Doug, are you going to do a second stream somewhere? Maybe on Andrew and Robert's channel? That would be really cool. I got 2 TVs that LRG left here. I can stream them both. I can watch them both. Andy says, I think thematically the specific character synergies are kind of like the Walking Dead character mechanic, but I do think it would be fun to see them team up effects in a Marvel style set. John says, I'm still bitter that Lancelot didn't get an 8. John, I will forever be bitter about that. I would love to see Hellboy in the future, says, I don't know, what is that name supposed to be? I'm sorry, Ollie Can Fix. And Doug says, not sure if we're going to stream more than 1 game. All right. Well, just so you know, we're anxious to watch whatever you do, whether it's just LRG or you put it on 2 streams. We want to see some games. And since I think, I got to get with Corey. I think Jessica and I are working during the day, and then Corey's got the night shift. So when I get off work at 6 or 7, it's only going to be 3 or 4 your time, so I could get in some of those games. And Joey says, I agree, Doug. It's not good long term as far as NAOL Seattle thing. I just simply worry about the trend of pushing the mixed legacy format out event by event. NAOL is that ray of hope for legacy. Yeah, Joey, don't worry too much about it, buddy. I don't want to say it's a one-time thing. Maybe Seattle will do it every year, but I don't see it happening anywhere else. John says, if I get them all in sealed or draft, I'll run it, but I can't see playing them in constructed just to make Michonne better. I agree. Andy says, honestly, in hindsight, it would have been pretty cool to have a Lancelot, Arthur, Merlin trio synergy that made Lancelot an 8. Yeah, in hindsight. And Andrew says, I'll try to set up a second stream. Awesome. I will stream. I will watch both the streams at the same time. And Doug says, we are not abandoning Legacy, Joey. Good. And John says, everyone will have synergy with Captain America in the new Marvel set. He can lead anyone. That's a pretty cool concept. I wonder how we can make that work. Give him some kind of inherent ability that would make him a leader over whoever he's paired with. That's funny, John. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. We're complaining about all the synergy, and now all of a sudden I'm wanting Captain America with synergy. That's hilarious. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We've gone almost an hour and a half. My voice is giving out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I can't wait to see the results of Seattle. And I hope you guys get a huge, huge turnout. I would love to see 40, 50 players in Seattle. We're at 22 right now. Guys, if you're going to go, please don't wait till the last minute to register. Get on there, register. Let them know you're coming. Let the store be prepared. And let's see what Seattle can do. Let's see what the West Coast can do. And Brandon, I know he's going to be there. He wasn't on again tonight, but I hope you get your product from ACD this week, including your power stations. I'll message you directly on Discord, where you know I only check those messages every 3 months. Anyways, guys, thanks so much. You guys have a great week. And like I said, I hope you have a huge turnout in Seattle. Sorry we can't be there. When the regionals for next year are discussed, I sure hope somebody contacts Columbus, Ohio players and does a schedule check. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.